I want to know more about being the first lady of Death Row, how that experience was for you, and how Suge treated you.
Well, you know what? I learned how to be a lady.
From Death Row?
Being around men,
yeah,
you like, shoot, you like a gangster in a dress.
Yeah.
Because they don't want you to be really a lady where you can say, can I have my check?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where my check, nigga?
Yeah.
Nigga.
Yeah, give me my payment.
You know, so
my issue.
It was very strange just being a female with all this testosterone.
Right.
So for a minute, I had to check and make sure I didn't grow nothing because they was giving me testosterone.
Okay.
I'm like, baby.
You held your own.
Yeah, you know, but it was rough. But with anything,
I learned a lot.
I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was good. You know, people always say, are you mad at Suge? No, I'm not.
You haven't spoken to him?
You know, since he's been in jail, I haven't spoken to him. But people don't understand, with Suge, he was like my brother. So sometimes when you're running a business and the people view you as their family, y'all know how y'all do family sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip the family reunion. No.
I can't, though.
You know, so it gets a little intense at times, but I promise you, I wouldn't want to trade that in for nothing in the world.
I feel that.
The experience made me who I am now. And one thing about this new game, they don't care if you're 54, you know, or whatever. If they like you, they like you. So, like me.
Yeah, no, of course, of course. What do you think about the movie that they did and how they portrayed Suge in that movie?
Well, the only thing I didn't really like about the movie was they didn't have Jewell in it. Like, where's the females that did the hooks?
And they didn't have me in the Tupac movie. I was
Exactly. But I respected LT.
Yeah.
And what was his name? Benny Boom. I respected from their perspective.
I was supposed to be I was supposed to play Queen in the movie. But then Fools was too busy trying to get a date with me. I ain't gonna say no name.
Well, I can't even be mad at him. She hot. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up.
Yeah, but
I'm loving the hair.
But he married. You hear what I said?
I'm loving the hair. She's hot.
Thank you.
So, you know, quiet as kept. You know, this business is kind of like they target the females.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Give me my check. Okay, what you gonna do for it? I ain't doing nothing, nigga. Just give me my check.
Right.
So, but you know, so I'm the last of the Mohicans because I ain't doing nothing I don't want to do.
Period.
But I might want to play a little game now, right?
You know what?
Dr. Dre, I'm sorry. Come get your girl,
you
okay?
got a book. You got a book. You got a book out. Let's talk about that.
Girl, the book was gonna come out.
You haven't released it yet?
No, I put it on hold.
Oh goodness, because I heard that it was some tea up in there that was going down.
Girl, the way they shot the commercial was making it seem like I was saying Dr. Dre was gay. But in my book, it wasn't like that.
No.
Dre asked me to do a threesome. But he was like a brother to me. So when I ran into him and I had like lost all this weight, I'm thinking like he gonna be like, Jewell, let's do your album. And I'd have been like, I'm ready, baby, yeah. Bring it on. But he was like, I want to sleep with you and her. And I was so hurt.
Aww.
But I love him. He's so talented. Like, you know, I looked at him like my brother.
Yeah.
But I wish I could probably go back in time.
And do the threesome.
No, I ain't gonna need that. No, I'm not gonna compromise my integrity just to be down on a record.
Yeah.
You know, but he was so dope. I did consider it.
You was like, wait a minute, hold on, let me think about this.
I probably would have been in my own house by now.
Check this out, though.
Right, exactly.
Nah. That's what it's like being, you know, the only woman at Death Row and trying to.
Well, you know, Rage
thank God
was there.
I was a kid.
And
nobody tried to get with me. I was like, you know what I'm saying, with my sweatpants, my baggy shirt.
You know what? And I'm really, and I don't mean this to sound selfish, but I'm really glad that you didn't step into your greatness until after you left. Because they would have messed off your career.
You think so?
Just like mine. Look, my album never came out. It's on the internet now. Y'all can YouTube me.
Yeah.
I ain't getting a check from it, but at least y'all listening to my voice. You know
I want to do a show on that because you should be getting something from the YouTube views.
Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Yeah, me too, YouTube.
I'm coming.
I'm talking to somebody now about that because now that I'm taking over my own material. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? On the media. But I'm not hating because these young people.
We got to stay in contact.
They don't know.
We learn together.
Yeah, they don't know real music. well, I'm not gonna say they don't know real music, but their interpretation sometimes of real music, they didn't get to experience like the 90s. Like if I could travel back in time, I'd go to the 90s because it was good. But now,
learned a lot. Yep.
I like Demi Lovato, I like Billie Eilish. Of course, I love Keyshia Cole, you know what I'm saying?
Hello.
I talk to Rage and Miss Chalet all the time. We check up on each other.
Yeah.
You know, and I've had several people step up to me and ask me like to do a Ladies of Death Row, and you know, they always want to compromise on us.
How you feel
and I'm
everything.
like,
so that's why you
already
wrote
got
the
over
book?
on me.
Is that why you wrote it?
Well, the book is not just about death row. It was a testimony of my life. So it showed from the church girl to the death row world to how much I've grown since then. So, you know, it was more than just a death row book.
Oh, good. Okay.
But in anything I tell these young people, you need to have a spiritual connection with whatever you do. You also need to have a good team that loves you, that respects you, and gonna be behind you. My problem was I had God brothers or different people that said they wanted my best interests, but they'll use you for your connections and then leave you in the dirt.
That's the scary part.
You know what I'm saying? When they get to where they're going. And I want to apologize to all the women in the world for the negative records that I sang on. Now, at that time, it felt good. You know what I'm saying? But
which is what? Which records?
Well, you know, the biznitches ain't shit. Oops, it's no way to say that, Mom. I'm sorry. Bitches ain't shit.
Snoop Dogg.
You know, yeah. You know, I'd rather fuck you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we advocated those things. Now, for the experience of doing the records, I wouldn't want to take that back, but just being a grandma now, somebody be rolling up on me and I'll be listening and I'll be like this, and they be playing the shit in the background. I'd rather fuck you, ooh, yeah. And I'll be like, oh, Jesus.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Jalen, close your ears, my granddaughter Jalen.
That's true, that's true.
So
I feel you.
it's a little bit rough, but for the experience, I wouldn't want to take it back. So I just hope, Lord, if you give me a chance before I die, I want to do something more inspirational to uplift people, because music was created to uplift. And people be like, but you know what? I still listen to the Chronic to this day. You know, so.
I got one more question about this book, because I want to know, I want my own copy, of course, because I want to know your personal thing with, you know, with being on death row, but give me one of the juiciest stories from the book. Not juicy, but just, you know, one of the stories that caused.
Well, it's a documentary that was released, right? And it was saying that I said Suge killed Tupac. But the way that they worded, and that's why you have to be careful when you do interviews. And I like the live because you can't cut that stuff and splice it.
Yeah.
I said I held Suge responsible for Tupac getting killed because there was a situation that happened where Tupac was supposed to come and rap on my song. If you had 3 wishes, would you wish for these? Money, sex, and some weed. I know it's kind of crazy,
Don't ask me how I know.
Exactly. But it's on the internet now. And Tupac called me, and he was like, Jewell, we gonna go to Vegas, and I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna rap the song. And Demetrius Ship, he goes by Meech.
Yeah.
He did my album. And the one, Black Diamond, that I think Angie Stone stole a name, and then I came up with Diamonds Forever, and then Kanye West jacked me. It's just like, okay, I have nothing left. But anyway, he was mixing my album down when I got the call.
The actor?
No, Demetrius Ship. His son played Tupac in All Eyes on Me. Well, Meech, he used to work with Teddy Riley.
I did not know that.
Yes, baby girl. And I got the call, and Pac was like, I'm gonna do it after Vegas.
Wow.
And I was like, you're not gonna make it. No, I had a dream, you got killed. Suge, and he was like, Jewell tripping. So he threw the phone down and gave it to Suge. So I was like, relative, please don't go to Vegas. Please don't go to Vegas. I don't want you to go to Vegas. Something's gonna happen to y'all. And he was like, I ain't worried about the busters. And
you told this story in your book?
Oh yeah, and the Holy Spirit just told me, don't go to Vegas. Like, don't go. So everybody was calling me like, are you going? Are you going? And I was like, no. So my husband at the time, his name was Wilbur Payton, He was like, they paying for our room, our flights, everything. He gonna fly you out. I said, you can go if you want to.
I'm not taking my...
I ain't going nowhere in no line of fire. So warning does come before destruction. Now, I can't say Tupac would be alive today, but I can say that time, if they would have took heed to God's warning, he wouldn't be dead.
Yeah.
Not that time.
Yeah, we all drove down there. I was actually, who did I drive down there? I want to say Heron drove down there. Was Heron alive, right?
And all those people,
yeah,
it's so sad.
And
they're dead now.
Yeah.
And it's scary because I named Death Row Records. And it's just like I came up with the man in the electric chair. So later on, when I knew about like branding and marketing and everything,
you didn't get paid for.
I'm like,
yeah.
huh?
I didn't know it was a check for this.
You want me a check for that?
Yeah.
That's my emblem. That's my name. But you know, with anything, when they think you family, they just take some hush money, be quiet.
They do it, yeah.
So he kind of like gave me peanuts.
You was
versus,
balling, dog. I was like, Jewell. I was like, ooh, if I got Jewell on my side, they play with me. You understand
let me
what
tell
I'm
you,
saying?
when you go against the grain, though, you're considered more of an outcast. So I would tell young people today, instead of, because I did what they called temper tantrums, I guess, where I would just get mad, like, Jewell's at the office, Chug, you gotta, so he would be the only one to come tear me down. And that's just the one thing that I do regret is not just packing up my stuff and going to like a Capitol Records or a different label, but I wanted to be with the guys that I helped create it.
That were family and brothers.
Exactly, they was like my family, you know, so it makes it difficult. If I could change anything, it would just be how I handle my situations, because when people label you difficult, you can't get any worse.
Trust me,
Teddy Riley was one of like my mentors, and I spoke to him one day. He was like, Jewell, Suge told me you beat up producers, and that's why he didn't want to work with me. But I love Teddy Riley. I'm like, huh? So with anything, I would say just watch your attitude, be good to the people around you, you know what I'm saying? And be true to yourself. So it's one thing, you can keep the money. I'm true to myself. I stayed true to my grind. And they say, well, what about now? Are you doing an album? I worked on some records. I was chosen by God. I grew up in the church. So it was gonna be a hard road for me because I'm different. Yeah. I'm like extraterrestrial. There's nowhere to put me.
You know, yeah, of course it is. Because I learned a lot, you know, and that helped me, push me along in my music career as well. You know, because I had that confidence. I had that ghetto vibe to me, like, you know what I'm saying? But I watched you for so long in the cut, you know what I mean? And I learned so much from Death Row. And I feel like, you know, a lot happened after, you know, Pop got killed. And I mean,
yes,
it's crazy because that night that he got shot, and we were all at Suge's house. And I think Left Eye was there, and the girl from Black. And I was just sitting there like, you know, Pac had that green jersey, and I'm like, I want that green jersey. He was like, you can have this green jersey, or whatever. And then he was like, man, like, Suge, come on, man, like, you know, why you taking so long?
Right.
Why Keyshia can't come to the club with us or whatever? And
well, you know, like, you was our baby. They was trying to protect you. They didn't want you around all them vultures.
Like,
They didn't want you around all them vultures.
He said, but when we get back home, he said in L.A., I'm going to have you sing on this song called White Man's World. And I think, what's the light-skinned guy with the bald head, the producer guy who used to do all the vocal stuff? Who knows what tomorrow brings in the world? Girl. Everyone's alive. Let you know that how far I find, and let's know that you're not alone. I would have sounded good on that, actually. but no, yeah, it's just, I mean, just seeing him go through that and then never come back was kind of like, you know, what do you think that did to, like, you know, Death Row Records as a whole, as a family, not coming back?
With anything, when it's your time, it's your time. And I think Pac lived a full life.
At 20?
And he
was a grown man.
He covered a lot. You know, Mother from the Black Panthers and all that. He experienced a lot.
Yeah.
So God, people say, well, God did this. How can a baby get killed? And da-da-da. Certain things will happen. God didn't do that. it happens because of circumstances in the universe. But God will walk with you while you're going through. We've all experienced the loss. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Dr. Dre is so dope. You know what I'm saying? It hurt me because he looked at me one day and say, I don't know what to do with you. And I'm like, give me some of them gangster beats I sing on and let me do a whole song over it.
Yeah.
You know, and Snoop is doing his thing.
Ring, ding, dong.
Exactly. So I'm like, right now,
hey,
what needs to happen with the West Coast, you guys need to get together and just do a tour for y'all fans. They never got to see none of the performances with all of us together. Let's just call it like a West Coast legacy tour. Let's all get together and make some money.
I mean,
we grown and sexy.
I'm going to say...